everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat. It's Sunday, June 12th, 2022, and are we going to have a murder mystery and a launch party next week? I'm wondering if there's any way that we can combine these two things. Is there any way that we could get a murder mystery launch party? Or better yet, can we make it a murder mystery launch party wedding? Can somebody please make that happen? I'm envisioning that Ashland gets murdered at the Chancellor Winter's launch party while maybe Noah and Allie are getting married in the background. Sounds good to me. All the bang for our buck. Max drama. Oh, it was a good week. Do you know what my favorite scene of the entire week was? Friday. Nick was being the most supportive brother. I have so much love for Nick right now. I was practically in tears as he was talking to Victoria and trying to be encouraging and supportive toward her while disagreeing with her deeply. I was so impressed with him. The fact that he really seems to understand what love really is, that you support someone even if you don't agree with them. And I was impressed by the conversation that they had. It was so raw. They both talked about the ways that they've been allies over the years. Victoria was supportive of Nick's relationship with Sharon when the rest of the family was not. And the same kind of happened with Billy at various points. And Nick and Victoria also acknowledged that they've been enemies many times over the years. It just felt like Nick knew he was losing his sister and he was trying to do anything he could to prevent that. And I really liked that about him. I think that it's hard to love somebody like that. It's hard because love has to encompass respect and kindness and support, and it seems like Nick really gets that right now. Oh, I love him. And he looks good in a beret. Let that also be said. Nick looks cute in a beret. Fashion choices. It's too bad that Nick could not have helped Victoria with her fashion choice this week. That bright red, poppy red outfit that she had on this week was absolutely perfect for the season, but I was so confused by it. Was it a shirt? Was it a dress? Was it tucked in? Was it untucked? Why does everything have to be so complicated? Having everyone tell you over and over again that you shouldn't do something or someone just makes you want that something or someone even more. And I think in the end, that's what Nikki and Victor managed to accomplish with all of the support that they were trying to offer Victoria in the post-breakup period. I think they were well-meaning. I think they had great intentions, but I think they overdid it, and it ended up sending Victoria back into Ashland's arms. Victoria is all the way back in on Ashland. She says she believes that he is a changed man. She says she understands that he might have been lying to her in the beginning, but she believes that the feelings that they shared for each other were not a lie, and that's enough to build on. Victoria wants to give Ashland another chance for a fresh start, this time at a healthy relationship. One that is cancer-free, shall we say. Yeah, she tells Ashland that she accepts him. She wants to take it slow, but then she spends the night in his hotel room. But she took the bed, and he woke up on the couch. Of course, I mean, she's got to put the brakes on somewhere. The man has got some making up to do, wouldn't you say? At the very least, you cannot just hand him the all-access pass back into your life. You got to make him keep working for it. So I'm glad she didn't just turn around and bed him right away. Well, yeah, I think that Victoria is a total fool to return to Ashland, but I also think that she has a right to be. I think Victoria has a right to choose to be with any lying liar that she wants to. The heart wants what it wants. She is a grown woman, and she can do what she feels is best for herself. And in listening to her explanations, I can totally see why Victoria feels like a prisoner in her own life. I think that Victoria constructed her life that way. I think Victoria wanted to be the heir to Victor's legacy ever since she was a little girl. And as long as Victor is alive, that means that she has to live by his rules. I think Victoria knew that a long time ago. I don't think any of that is news to her. So the only way that she can truly live a Newman-free life is to break away from the family and the family business. That's what she tells the Newmans. She gathers everyone together and tells them she is out of here. She and Ashland are moving to New York City. She's gonna pack light. She's only going to need to take one suitcase for now. She will send for the rest of her things later, and you can keep the oil portrait, okay? All the while that Victoria was exploding at Victor and Victor was exploding at Victoria, Adam was just standing there looking like the cat who just ate the canary. Mark Grossman was so good and so subtle in those scenes. It felt like Adam was struggling to keep the smile off of his face with everything in him. He was just watching the whole thing go down, wondering where the popcorn cart was. That was juicy. And of course, Adam ran right back to Newman Media to tell Sally all about what had happened, and Sally had the biggest smile on her face about it all too. Oh, you mean our plan worked? Our plan to reunite Victoria and Ashland worked? I don't know about that. I don't exactly think that Adam and Sally were single-handedly or even at all responsible for the Victoria and Ashland reunion. I think it just kind of worked out in their favor, right? But I also don't really even know what kind of favor this is. Adam de facto winning the Newman Enterprises CEO position. I mean, doesn't he deserve better than being Victor's backup plan? An hour before Victoria made her big announcement, Victor was trying to put Adam back into his place. Victor was going on to Adam about what a good decision maker Victoria is and how she's absolutely not going back to Ashland. And well, now here we are. Victor and Nikki decided that Nikki should step down as co-CEO. That was her idea, stepping down as co-CEO, taking back her COO position. And then Victor is going to name Adam as the sole CEO. And surely that is going to strike Victoria right where it hurts, in her own ego. And that, they think, is what will force her to stay in town. But I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think Victoria totally accepts the consequences of her actions. I think she already knows darn well that Adam is going to be the one to take over her position. Of course he is. She has to know this. And Adam is going to be so temporarily happy after it all happens. He's going to be donning the crown of love from Victor, and that's going to feel so good for a minute. But I worry about Adam in all of this. What goes up must come down, and I mean, taking over Newman Enterprises is really only a victory for Adam if he accepts that it means that he's going to have to give up a certain amount of his freedom and his independence, and that he's not really going to be able to live his own life and make his own decisions. I think the title implies that you're under Victor's rule. I mean, unless Adam has some kind of takeover plan, which includes ultimately getting Victor out of the way sooner rather than later, but somehow with the kinder, gentler Adam we've been seeing, I really don't think that's the case. No matter what happens, it has been especially fun to watch Victor lose it this week. I mean, he lost it several times. He was scowling and yelling and pointing his finger like a pro, doing his trademark finger point move. Victor said, "I'm gonna get that bastard Ashland lock if it's the last thing I do." And then he later said that he wished he would have given Ashland a knuckle sandwich when he had the chance. Oh! So much violence from both Victor and Nikki lately, because Nikki let it slip to Victor that she slapped Diane last time they came into contact, and the look on Victor's face was like, huh? And Nikki said, "Oh, you don't approve?" And Victor said, "No, I just wish I could have been there to see it." Oh, Victor, you drama hound. He probably went home that night and was thinking about Nikki slapping Diane. That's probably going to give him sweet dreams tonight. Oh. By the way, Diane also went on to tell Kyle about how Nikki slapped her. Were we watching the same scene, ladies? Diane slapped Nikki, and then Nikki slapped Diane. Nikki didn't just walk right up and slap Diane out of the blue. Diane started it. Oh, anyway. It kind of does seem like maybe we are going to be leading up to a Who Killed Ashland Locke murder mystery story. I mean, if the hit Victoria where it hurts inner ego plan doesn't work out, then something else has got to stop Victoria from leaving town, and a bullet in Ashland might just do the trick. Add Billy to the list of Victoria Ashland reunion detractors. Victoria tells Billy that she's leaving town, and yeah, it's with Ashland, and Billy hits the roof. He does not want his kids coming anywhere near the Ashland monster. And Billy tells Victoria that he's prepared to fight her for custody every step of the way to prevent that from happening. Does Billy have a point about all of that? Should Billy get to have a say in who Victoria brings into his children's lives? Lily says no. Lily says, hey, wait a minute, bub. Ashland may be a bad guy and doing some bad emotional stuff, but he is not a physical threat to the kids. So, Billy, you need to let it go. Enough is enough. The problem, as Lily sees it, is really not about Victoria's decision to bring Ashland back into her life. the way Lily sees it, it's Billy's inability to let go of Victoria, that Billy's the one with the problem that needs to be worked out, that Billy needs to stay out of Victoria's life and stop trying to influence everything she does, who she sees, who she's involved with. Just leave that job to Victor or any of the other Newmans. There's plenty of people telling Victoria what to do. This is not your business. Now, I really like that Lily is a voice of support for Victoria here, even though I disagree with Victoria's personal choice to go back to Ashland. I still fully support Victoria's right to do it, and I thought it was nice to hear Lily, as a third neutral party, assert that Victoria has a right to her autonomy. But at the same time, I also cringed a little at how completely Billy folded to Lily's will. I mean, as soon as she started putting her foot down about it, he said, "Oh, well, you're probably right, and I'm probably wrong, and I would be a fool not to listen to you, oh, wise, all-knowing girlfriend, who is also my boss." Here, as a token of my appreciation, here is an amethyst ring, which I hope will secure my place in your life. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me, because I can only find my own self-worth by looking into your eyes for it. Oh, wait a minute. This is giving me an idea. I have to go record a podcast. I'll be back. Next week, Jill brings the party! Yeah, Jill! In the flesh, not even on a video call. How long has it been since we've seen Jill not on a video call? Ooh, hooray! I hope we get some juicy drama to go along with our party, like maybe Nate goes wild, takes off his shirt, runs up onto the stage, and announces Chancellor Winter's latest big idea. Wait for it. A podcast. Yeah. The bold, innovative, juicy future of Chancellor Winters is they're gonna have a podcast. Wow. That's fresh. I'm sorry. Do you find podcasts to be a fresh, new, innovative idea? Because it seems to me that the peak for podcasts has already come and gone. There is like a sea of dead podcast carcasses floating around right now. I don't see how that is this great, new, big idea. It's kind of too bad that Chancellor Winters couldn't actually do something fresh. But don't ask me what that is, because I don't know. But here's what I do know. Hey, Nate, if you want to make big, bold moves, and if you want to call the shots, then you're going to have to start your own business, because not being listened to and standing on the sidelines while other people make the decisions and then other people take all the credit for your work is called having a job. Welcome to the world. It's nice to have you be a part of it. Oh. That being said, though, I really love that Nate is giving us some angst here. I think he's bringing us some real world flavor. That is what it really is like to go to work. I mean, you maybe feel some enthusiasm about your job. Maybe there's things you really want to get done, and then you just keep boom, boom, hitting red tape, boom, boom, hitting brick walls. I mean, that's kind of how a lot of corporate jobs are, just like, you know, having good ideas and then getting them squashed down by the powers that be. But this is not the real world, and so I hope that Nate decides to go rogue against Devon and Lily, who are totally right, by the way, and Billy, totally. They're totally all right, but I want to see Nate make a big scene at the launch party. Maybe it's just me, but I'm here for that drama. So what do you guys think about Nate's ambition? Are you rooting for Nate to go get him and push through his ideas and you know, I don't know, be big, be bold? Or do you think that Nate is getting a little too big for his britches already? I think that'd be a good poll question for the week. YRChat.com. It's all about Nate's ambition. Are you feeling it? Are you rooting for him? Or are you thinking he needs to pull it back? Either way, I feel bad that Nate's going to have to go to this launch party all alone without Elena, who has to work, which is a real shame because Elena is always someone who brings the fashion to the party. My eyes are always scanning for what Elena is going to wear to any kind of formal event. She always looks so lovely. But how much do you want to bet that Imani is going to be like licking her chops all night as soon as she realizes that Nate is there without a date? And by the end of the night, I bet you Imani is going to have Nate cornered and she's going to be getting ready to make her move. And then Elena's going to show up after all and get an eyeful. As simple as it is, I really enjoyed Allie and Jack's conversation about running and how hard it is on your knees. I run 2 miles a day, or I used to be able to get up to 2 miles a day until I destroyed my knee a couple of weeks back. I mean, I've been working on getting, you know, being able to still run again. And forget about my pickleball career. I've been just going to the gym and hanging out on the court on the sidelines, just sitting on the bench watching the games and giving everyone my sad eyes. And the Y&R chats have been like super, like 1 hour tight because it's hard for me to even just sit in one spot for an hour without my knee getting all owied up. Gets all stiff and it hurts, and then I can't walk for an hour after I chat for an hour. Oh, the drama. As Jack said, I think I just need to find some hobbies that are easier on my knees. Oh yeah, I like Jack and Allie talking together. I like them both. I like them separately. Jack totally saw how Allie was interested in Noah. I mean, it really wasn't hard. She started talking about that Grinning Soul podcast, and she was trying to pretend that she had been having a conversation with Sharon about it. Oh, well, maybe it's not Sharon. I mean, maybe it was actually Sharon's super hot son who I can't get off my mind. Okay, Allie. It's okay, Allie. Noah's cute. You don't have to hide it. Oh. I also really like that she's doing a tour of the Jabot lab, and she asked to meet up with Ashley at the coffee house beforehand, and Jack said, well, you know, I'm sure that you must be hoping to, if you go to the coffee house, you'll be running into the best coffee in town. That was cute. Oh, I wish we could have seen the lab in Allie's lab tour. But doesn't Ashley not work at Jabot anymore? I thought Ashley was working at a competitive company. Why would she still be able to be let into Jabot? Or maybe she still is a member of the board. I'm not sure. But I wish we could have seen the lab tour because I remember the lab. And Jack reminded us this week also how Chemo used to work in Lon's restaurant when he started out, and then he had such an inquisitive mind that Ashley decided to take Chemo on as her assistant, and then Chemo just flourished as a chemist from there. Oh, I love hearing Jack talk about Chemo. And I love watching Allie try to reconcile the how and why of why Chemo never talked about this side of his family, and why he had such a contentious relationship with them when they all seem so perfectly lovely. Well, maybe we should just ask Chemo. Don't you guys think it's about time we stop talking about Chemo like he's dead or something? Mariah and Tessa are home from their Parisian honeymoon. But Tessa has a sore throat. What's up with that? What am I supposed to be reading into that? Can somebody get this girl a chamomile tea? Stat! We cannot have our resident songbird getting sick. She's got music to make, I tell you, music. Oh. Tessa and Mariah seem totally blissed out together. I didn't see any hints of lingering awkwardness with Noah. It seems to me that Noah has decided to move on to available girls, and Tessa and Mariah are moving on with their future adoption plans. Maybe Tessa and Mariah could just adopt Nick. Nick is kind of a big kid. And I just want to give him a big hug. I'm so glad that Nick has Sharon to talk to, especially about this whole mess with Victoria that's going on. I think Sharon's the perfect person to talk to. I've said it before many times in recent years, and I'll say it again. Sharon is as much of a Newman as she ever was. Oh, what's up with Chelsea and Kyle? I don't know about this, you guys. Does Y&R just not know what to do with Chelsea now? So they're just gonna stick her, like, glamour on to another married man? I think that's kind of yucky. Kyle walked into the argument between Chelsea and Adam in the park, and Kyle took a stance as if he were protecting Chelsea from Adam, and I think Adam was just trying to get a sense of exactly how crazy Chelsea is right now. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being catatonic and 10 being, poisonous toward people. Exactly, Chelsea. How crazy are you right now? Can you please respond? Fill in the little blank on the scale of 1 to 10 of how crazy you are right now. Crazy enough to kill a man? I don't know. Crazy enough to try to break up Summer and Kyle's happy marriage? I don't know. It feels insidious or something. Summer and Chelsea are starting off so friendly. They seem to have a lot in common. They both work in the fashion industry, I guess. And then they both have a common enemy in Sally. Oh, I loved the way they were just trying to be so subtle about digging at her. They were both kind of like, well, you know me, I don't want to talk bad about anyone, but OMG, can you believe her? Big shocker early in the week. Jack tells Phyllis it's over. There is no turning back. Phyllis did the one thing that Jack asked her not to do. She let him be vulnerable, and then she broke his heart. Hell, she admitted that she was thinking, oh no, Diane's back in town. I've got to get Jack before she does. I mean, how's that supposed to make him feel? I'm surprised that Y&R has destroyed this couple so quickly. And yet it also feels like it's taken so long. Remember back on Thanksgiving when Phyllis and Jack were having dinner for Thanksgiving alone together? Like, he was on the plane and he had the meal delivered to her in the hotel room, and it seemed so sweet. And that was November. So we spent the following 6 months taking things slow between Phyllis and Jack, and then just when it started to get somewhere, the whole thing imploded. Well, specifically, Phyllis imploded. Do you think that was Y&R's plan all along? Or did something change? Right now, Phyllis is acting like such a mental case. Maybe we need to have her do a crazy scale from 1 to 10, too. Ask her exactly where she is on the scale. Because she had this very non-reaction to the breakup with Jack. She barely really reacted to it, and it was almost as if she was in denial that he broke up with her. And I get the impression that Phyllis still thinks that if Diane were to leave town, then maybe the breakup wouldn't happen, or if Diane was gone, then things would be different. I think the two are not, they're connected, but they're not. Everything must be a jumbled mess in Phyllis's mind right now. Summer had this great line when she told Kyle that she thinks Phyllis is headed for a breakdown. She said, "My mom is the powder keg and your mom is the match." I thought that was a great line. So Summer arranged for Phyllis to take a trip to see Daniel, which I find kind of hard to believe. I think there's absolutely no way that Phyllis would just up and leave town right now. There's no way that Phyllis would slink away and let Diane think that she's won. So I can only imagine that this is where maybe Michelle Stafford gets to take her well-deserved break for a job well done. I sure hope that she was able to go visit the same Swiss spa that Nikki and Victoria just got home from. Because she's making the show good. When Phyllis does get home, I have an idea. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? What if, when Phyllis gets home, Jack starts dating Diane and flaunts it in Phyllis's face as a form of revenge? Ooh! Is it right? Is it mature? No. Definitely not. But it would be just desserts for the way that Phyllis was flaunting her relationship with him. So I think, yeah. With the great white heat of 1,000 suns. I mean, that is an epic line right out of a novel right there. And it was Phyllis who said it last week. She was dramatically describing how much Jack hates Diane to Diane. In Phyllis's words, Jack hates you with the great white heat of 1,000 suns. So good. You guys got it. Kathy, Deedles, Henry, Juanita, Keisha, Daisy, Jamie, Tanya, Tommy, and Kamna. You knew it was Phyllis. Congratulations. Here's a summary line who said this. Emotional fireworks of all kinds. Emotional fireworks. I like that descriptive line too. Somebody's doing some good writing over there at Y&R. Emotional fireworks of all kinds. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your emotional fireworks shout out next week on Y&R Chat. And now for your emotionally fiery, fireworky comments, starting with this hot take from Victoria. Wow! Jack dumps Phyllis on the first sign of trouble. This was quick. Neither Jack or Phyllis is without blame. Phyllis has been there for Jack during hard times. She helped him overcome his alcohol and drug addiction, gave him support during Dina's decline, and offered him understanding and good advice for many years. Jack's self-righteous behavior will not serve him well. He should accept Phyllis's apology and encourage her to seek out answers as to why Diane triggers her. Jack's decision seems to be not only about being lovers, but friends. Thus, he will lose a valuable ally in Phyllis. Ooh, Victoria, this is so good. See, this is what makes Y&R Chat so good, because it's so easy to go, oh, Phyllis, she did the wrong thing, and Jack's a victim here, and he must protect himself. But you are giving us a totally wonderful 360 view now from Phyllis's perspective, too, in that, wait a minute, Jack kind of pulled the plug on that pretty quickly. What about all of the support and all of the good things that Phyllis has done for and with Jack over the years? And he just pulls the plug like that. And I really also like your point that if Jack were being a good partner, he would be encouraging Phyllis to maybe seek out some help or to do some deeper digging onto why Diane is such a trigger for her. But he didn't do that. He just put the suit of armor on and decided that he has to protect himself from her. And he called it quits. Wow. Great comment. Keisha says, Phyllis says she's matured, but admits that Diane had 100% control of her thoughts. Monday's show confirmed it for me. Phyllis hates Diane way more than she loves Jack. Oh, that's so good too. Phyllis hates Diane more than she loves Jack. Oh! Well, Diana says Phyllis is off the canvas for a little while visiting Daniel while she's out of town. All the people Phyllis cares about will be growing closer to Diane. Oh, sorry. Pause. This is exactly why I feel like Phyllis in reality would not have left town right now. It seems a little odd that Phyllis would just leave as soon as everything was heating up. But continuing on, Diana says Phyllis's biggest fears are about to come true. As we discussed last week, Phyllis is truly worried that Diane has changed for the better. This would mean that many of the characters in Genoa City are capable of forgiving Diane for her past mistakes and moving forward. The problem Phyllis has is that she despises Diane so much she is not capable of forgiveness like everyone else. Phyllis's hate for Diane will be Phyllis's demise. Phyllis will have to witness seeing her daughter beginning to bond with Diane, her son-in-law, her grandson, and of course Jack. Phyllis will be like an outcast, as she will not want to socialize with Diane and the other characters. Ooh, Phyllis needs to find some wiggle room for forgiveness toward Diane, or her whole world will come crashing down. You're right, Diana. The only way through for Phyllis, where she doesn't lose anything more, really would be to forgive Diane and to try to take the high road. It's far less juicy, but it would be the right thing to do. And I just love your point that what Phyllis is going to get out of this is having to watch everyone else grow closer with Diane, watch everyone else forgive Diane, and meanwhile she's going to end up kind of ostracizing herself over it all if she continues to stick to her guns. Daisy says, I think Phyllis should just walk away from the situations with Jack and with Diane. Phyllis can't protect Jack from even the slightest possibility that he'll get back with Diane, no matter how hard she tries. And she doesn't need to get upset by Diane at all. She knows who Diane is already. Phyllis, though, can be there for her daughter when, not if, when Diane tries to hurt her and her family. But in order to be there for Summer, Phyllis needs to stay strong and keep her head on straight, which means not having any interactions with Diane. In essence, not letting her get inside her head. Yeah, I think that's a really great strategy too, Daisy. Just like ignoring Diane and trying to focus on her family and Summer and supporting, being there for Summer when and if it all blows up. Well, last week I asked you guys if you would prefer to see Jack with Phyllis, or if you think he might be a little bit of a better fit with Diane. This is such a great vote. It's so split. 52% of you pick for Jack. Phyllis. Feels like Love Connection, you know, where the percentages used to come up on the screen, who the audience picked for The Bachelor. So 52% of you pick Phyllis for Jack, 48% of you pick Diane. I picked Diane. I don't know why. I'm just feeling like maybe I would really like that chemistry. I at least want to get a chance to explore it. But Naomi voted with the majority, saying Phyllis and Jack have had so many powerful stories together, and apart from that, and a part that I want that to continue. Jack dumped Phyllis and will probably get into a mess with Diane. Only Phyllis will be able to reach Jack if his life goes in the dumpster. Oh, that's true. I mean, I think that if Jack had to pick right now he would pick Phyllis a million times over. I think he's just guarding his heart because she's the one that he really wants. She's the one that he would really pick. She's the one that, as you say, would be able to help him pull his life out of the dumpster. Victoria says Diane would be a better choice now. It will last long because Diane thinks the grass... It will last long because Diane thinks the grass is greener with someone else. Oh, maybe you mean it won't last long. Andy Richards was her most stable relationship and she became bored with him. Diane hasn't changed. She's had to learn how to gain patience and fine-tuning her ability to manipulate. I'm looking forward to all of her machinations. Yeah, Diane does tend to get bored. That's the thing. I think that Phyllis is always going to be the one that Jack wants, but I don't think that Jack is the one that Diane wants. I think Diane always wanted something else. She had opportunities to be with Jack. She blew him off for Victor, and I think she would probably blow him off again if, as you say, the grass was greener on the other side. Tony says it was icky and obvious that Phyllis used Jack. She is not sincere about him. I still think there's a deep residual feeling of the Marco Jack incident. I just wish they would acknowledge that. Diane just wants back in more than she wants Jack. Too. So why is it so hard for Jack to find true love? And there are no Genoa City ladies of his vintage right now. I'd rather he rediscovered Sharon. But he doesn't drink coffee. Well, he could drink tea, right? They serve tea. Or maybe one of Sharon's delicious fruit teas or fruit waters. But this is also another very good point that the last time Phyllis and Jack were together was the Marco Jack incident. That created, obviously deep traumatic issues for Phyllis, and they don't really talk about it. I mean, I think that would be very relevant to bring up, especially now as Jack and Phyllis are trying to work through what their relationship is today. Why not talk about what it was yesterday? And I mean, for both of them, I'm sure they both have residual feelings about it all, but it just never gets brought up. Maybe why it's one of those stories that Y&R doesn't want to mention because it was a little wacky. Well, how about this from Diana, who says, I really like the idea of Chelsea and Kyle. I never would have imagined the two of them getting together. It is starting to appear as though Chelsea may cause some trouble for Kyle and Summer. I love it! As a chatter pointed out, Kyle and Summer are a boring couple. They need some drama to keep things exciting. It had started off with Chance and Chelsea running into each other, but I'm just as happy to see Kyle fill the spot. Oh, you think Summer and Kyle are boring? Well, maybe also, I wonder, I saw some comments this week about people maybe not necessarily loving the new Summer, which I want to do a poll about that, and I got to get on that. So maybe it's that the passion that Summer and Kyle had maybe translated more from the old couple. It's hard to recast one person within a couple because a lot of the couple succeeding is based on the chemistry of the actors, and it's not just as easy as plopping a new actress into the role of Summer and then boom, magic chemistry between the couple. So maybe you're right that Kyle and Summer will break up and Chelsea will find love with Kyle and maybe it will be good. I'm just waiting for Y&R to hit the mark with Chelsea. It just feels like they've been so off for so long with her. Well, Victoria says it was delightful to see Allie all giggly over seeing the Jabot lab. There was such joy in her description of her tour. She spoke so glowingly of the Abbotts and how much she was enjoying getting to know them. I hope we learn more about her relationship with Chemo as she struggles to make sense of his decision to exclude the Abbotts from her life. Yeah, I wonder if Allie is going to get a taste of that next week. We saw in the previews that Allie is having lunch with Ashley and Tracy, and the girls are telling her, our lives are an open book. I mean, it literally is. There's a book about the Abbotts. I can't believe nobody has handed that to her, but it sounds like Allie is continuing to search out those answers as to what it was that made the relationship with Chemo and the Abbotts so contentious, and maybe Tracy and Ashley will be able to offer her some insight on that. Well, Sherrod says it felt like the director must have used the rehearsal footage for the scenes in Crimson Lights for the Wednesday episode with Tessa and Mariah returning from their honeymoon. The scenes did not feel polished and fleshed out properly. Sharon hugging them twice, and then when Mariah was telling Noah about how to make her drink, it seemed that Sharon Case and Kate Fairbanks were having a side conversation. Also, I wonder if Crystal went back to the apartment before leaving town and decorated, because they have a new lamp on their end table and the rock on hand is on the shelf. Just noticing those small touches. What happened to Crystal? Was it automatically implied that she was going to leave town again? Oh, yeah. I was thinking that maybe there might be a triangle there or something for Noah. They certainly built up some chemistry between Noah and Crystal at the wedding party. Maybe I was wrong in thinking we were going to get to keep Crystal for a little while longer, but that's kind of a bummer because I do like her. I think it would be interesting to see Noah having these great conversations with Allie that are very deep and meaningful, and then seeing him really let loose and have a lot of fun with Crystal. I think that would be an interesting choice for him. I didn't notice about the odd choppiness of the Mariah Tessa return, so that's a good point. Maybe everybody else was noticing it, and I don't know why that didn't jump out at me. Okay, well, Laura says Billy Boy Abbott is a long, tall drink of water, and his hairdo makes him even longer and taller. I have to say, I noticed this week that his hair is so tall. It's like his hair has gotten taller over the years. He's tall, and his hair is so tall. Look at it next time you see him. But I agree, he's a good-looking man. Let it never be overlooked that he is a good-looking man. Keisha says, I'm hoping that Adam will see Victor's scheme coming a mile away. Victor is once again playing chess with his adult kids. This is why Adam goes rogue with the Newmans. Adam is expected to change, but they can do whatever they want. Adam is only good for body parts and their schemes. What? Adam is only good for body parts and their schemes. That is a burn, Keisha. I love it, and it's so true. Jamie says, the smackdown Victoria issued to her family was a gut punch of emotion for me. I've been on the receiving end of my family's disapproval, constant judgment, and irrational belief that I'm not qualified to chart my own path and live a joyful life. 4 years ago, I set myself free from the toxic cycle that had been in motion for as long as I can remember. Rock on, Victoria. I hope she can cut those toxic ties and go full steam ahead on her own path. Yes, Jamie, this is very relatable to me too, and I'm sure to a lot of people. Sometimes it's just so hard to get the simplest thing, like acceptance from the people around you and your family, and I connected in with Victoria in that way too. I think Victoria has a right to live her life however she chooses, and the loving and kind thing to do would be for the family to express their concern, but to let her be an adult and let her live her life. The last thing you should do is let your relationship suffer because you think you're right and you think the other person is wrong. I think you have to have a little bit more of a bird's eye view of it, and you can't push what you think someone should be doing onto them. You have to let that bird be free, right? So thank you for sharing that. I think that's really good, and I bet you a lot of people felt that way. Sue W says, the Newman family is so ridiculous, as we all know, with the tiresome and never-ending huffings and puffings. But I gotta say, I always get a kick out of Victor getting riled up and bellowing at whichever member is currently out of the good family graces, especially when said member holds his or her own and gives as good as the getting. I see you, Victoria. Yeah, she had some extra fire in her belly during those scenes, and it did feel like a liberation moment for Victoria. She was ready to declare her Independence Day. But I also do think that Victoria is responsible for this construction. I think that the people in Victor's life let him get away with being Victor Newman. I mean, I think that if Nikki's a really great example. If Nikki had put her foot down on this a long time ago, maybe he wouldn't be so domineering with the kids. If none of the children had accepted this behavior with Victor, then maybe it wouldn't happen. They all seem to accept that, okay, well, if we, they sort of want the spoil of his life's work, and they're willing to accept that it means they don't have the independence in order to get it. It seems like they're willing to accept the comfortable prison of it all, as opposed to saying, you know what, no, I want my own life. So I applaud Victoria for striking out of her own. On her own. She probably should have done it a long time ago. Gary says, I wouldn't mind seeing Y&R expand itself out with Victoria and Ashland living in New York on camera for a while. But what would they do with neither having a job? They say it costs money to live in the Big Apple, but Victoria must have lots of reserves, and Ashland has the half of the get out of the town check from Victor. Victoria would be a desperate housewife in no time without a company to run. Is running off to Tuscany not an option, as the palazzo was a gift from Victor and Nikki, and they're now cut from Victoria's life? I suppose it would be an embarrassment to now capitalize on the house in Italy. Nothing will change the dynamic of Ashland with the Newmans, but shouldn't Ashland give the money back to Victor as a further magnanimous gesture to accompany the contribution to New Hope? It would mean nothing to Victor, but it's something. Oh, that's a really good idea that Ashland should just give that other half of the money back. That's probably the fact that Y&R had Ashland give half of it to New Hope was the concession to that. Like, we're not going to have him give away all his money. He would be broke because he also signed away his company in exchange for it. We still need Ashland to be rich and powerful, so we'll just have him give half away. But I also like your point that why can't they just go live in Tuscany at the Palazzo, or is that bad form since it was a gift from Nikki and Victor? And I also love your idea that maybe we could see Victoria and Ashland actually living in New York City. That would be fun too. A little bit of an off-camera aside. I just don't know if that's where it's headed though. Ellen says, how many Ashlands does Victor know? Why does he always have to specify that it's Ashland Locke he's referring to? It's always first name, last name. I guess he just couldn't come up with a pithy nickname for him. Yeah, it's always that Ashland Locke. Never just Ashland. He has to always qualify it. Ashland Locke. And then it's always Billy Boy Abbott. And I think he kind of does that with Jack Abbott too. Victor's just on first name, last name basis with everyone. First come last. Oh, Sue W says, oh, Nikki and Victor, shouldn't there be more to your supposedly very full lives than this continued nosing about and fretting over your very adult daughter's love life? You were right to expose Ashland and support Victoria when all that went down, but now your yammering sounds as though Victoria were an innocent and dopey tween who might, horror of horrors, sneak out of her bedroom window to meet up with the neighborhood bad boy. She's not. Relax, love your daughter, and be quiet. Sue W, that's gotta be that's the real strategy. Love your daughter and be quiet. Oh, that's so good. If only everyone could have a quiet love and support of their loved ones, I think the world would be a better place. How about this from T. Nicole, though? T. Nicole says, I know most characters at some point or another have done just as bad things as Ashland, if not worse. And I can understand Victoria's frustration, and she can make her own decisions. But I can also completely understand Victor, Nikki, and Nick's reaction. For them, the news of Victoria taking Ashland back and dropping everything she's worked for is coming out of left field. When they last heard Victoria said she's not taking Ashland back, and they don't have to worry about that. Did her family handle the situation with Ashland in the best way? Absolutely not. But As a parent, I can imagine it must be terrifying feeling that your daughter is in a relationship where she's being isolated from her family, everyone she knows, and not knowing where she will be. I especially think this is alarming to Nikki and Victor, as she was previously in an abusive relationship that went as far as physical abuse with JT. After having their daughter go through that, of course they would be more aware of warning signs of a toxic relationship. Victoria isolating herself from her support system would be a huge red flag to her family, regardless if Ashland is truly good for her or the reason behind it. Another good point, Nicole, that the writers really didn't make. That should have been in there. I really felt the scenes where Nikki and Victor on Friday were saying, I'm scared that we're losing our daughter. I mean, that's real. And then the scenes with Nick also, it really felt like a goodbye. You can sense that the family loves Victoria and they feel like they're losing her. But I think this is such a great point that it should have been folded in, the fact that she was in an abusive relationship. That really would have added some bolstering to their point of view if they had, and unless I missed it, if they had said, that she's been in an abusive relationship before. We don't want to see her isolating herself. This is a red flag, given particularly what Victoria has been through. So great point, Nicole. Another really well-rounded set of views here by just combining these comments. Wow, good. Well, Daisy says Victoria will never grow up. She blames her father for everything. She didn't even consider that Ashland's lies traumatized a little boy. It's all her father's fault. She's too old for this. It's time she grew up and took responsibility for her own decisions. And her decision is a man who not only lied to her about an illness, but plotted to take her company away. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if I was in Victoria's shoes, I wouldn't make the decision to go back to Ashland. Absolutely not. Terry says, I'm most likely in the minority, but I'm not buying Victoria's, quote, forgiveness. Could she be building her alibi as so in love with Ashland that she couldn't possibly be a suspect when he turns up dead? Well, I love that, Terry. That's a good theory. I mean, I think it lagged a little bit, but I think there is certainly a possibility that Ashland is going to get murdered or an attempted murder. And you could be right. If this was all part of Victoria's revenge plan to make him think they were getting back together and to establish an alibi for herself while she got close to him and then killed him, that'd be crazy. Ooh. Well, Ellen M. says it's cruel to separate Ashland and Harrison, but Ashland could steal him away, never to be seen again, admittedly leaving the kid traumatized by losing Kyle instead. Yeah, I think Ashland would absolutely be poised to just go ahead and kidnap Harrison, and that's certainly not what he's doing. And I guess it does speak to Lily's point that Ashland does not appear to be a physical threat to any of the kids. Gary says, the truth is, Kyle is a sensitive, thoughtful person. Kyle himself pointed out last week that Harrison loves Ashland, his spiritual father, if not biological. I need more testing. And to put a restraining order out that would strip the boy of ever seeing Ashland again would not be in his best interests. The logic asks how Ashland could be so cruel to Harrison to allow him to believe his father is dying. Great point, but truth be told, that little skiing cherub remains pretty much a vegetable at this point in his development. So did he even understand what Ashland was telling him outside of the fact that he would not be seeing father anytime very soon? Well, that little skiing cherub. Harrison, the little cherub. Let's take a minute. Picture Harrison. Now picture him with wings. I think you summed it up very nicely there. And also, I mean, really, please, all this concern for Harrison, but what has Harrison ever done for anybody lately? I would like to call your attention to Exhibit A. Harrison was all loyal to Zippy the Fox until Harrison moved on to his new flashy life in Milan. Oh, I say, like father, like son, Harrison is only in it for himself. Okay, everybody. That's about all my knee can take. It gets stiff. I'm chatting for a cause, though. You know, enduring the pain to chat about Y&R. Ooh, the drama. Oh, how's about you go to yrchat.com. Leave me some more of your beautiful, well-rounded, awesome comments. You guys make Y&R Chat what it is. I love reading from you, hearing from you. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next Sunday for possibly an explosive week. Bye.